What you're looking for, everybody here on the whole TV. What you're looking for, whoa, welcome to the whole TV. What you're looking for, everybody here on the whole TV. What you're looking for, what you're looking for, everybody here on the whole TV. What you're looking for, whoa, welcome to the whole TV.
Get up on your feet, this is a shakedown. Order up that beat just like a takeout. Show me you got soul inside those new shoes, and you can rock and roll with an attitude. So good, so fresh, just the way you like it. Just the way you like it. So good, so fresh.
Set I'm free, y'all. Set I'm free, y'all. Set I'm free, y'all. Yes, I am. Set I'm free, y'all. Set I'm free, y'all. Set I'm free, y'all. Ooh. Yes, I am.
Well, good morning, good morning, good morning. And this is the day that the Lord hath made, and let us rejoice and let us be glad in it. Welcome to Hope TV. I'm Dewey Smith. I'm one of our Hope dealers here, and I am absolutely ecstatic that you've tuned in to the Hope TV on today, where we're about entertaining faith. And we're so thankful to see you. And what a blessing, what a joy to have you here with us this morning. We appreciate you being a part. You've tuned in to Morning Dew, which is our bi-weekly devotional. I'm so thankful that the gang is already coming in. Christina Jackson from East St. Louis, Illinois. Tina Williams from Fort Valley, Georgia. Good morning to you. Sandra Jackson from Facebook. Blessings to you. And I love for everybody who's tuned in. Won't you drop us a line and let us know the city and the state and the country from which you are viewing. Blessings to you, Makita Knuckles. Glad to have you this morning. And those who are in the States and those who may be in different parts of the world, where it may be the afternoon, if you're in the UK or if you're in United Kingdom, blessings to you. Bethany Willis, blessings to you. Good. Madison, Illinois, blessings to you. Jesse Snellings, good to see you, Sister Snellings. Lynn Cobb from Mansfield, Ohio, blessings to you this morning. Glad to have you here with us, and I'm appreciative to everybody. I really, really am, and so thankful that you've tuned in today. Francis Hargis, blessings to you this morning from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, city of brotherly love. Glad to have you here with us from YouTube here today, and so thankful. I really, really am. This is today's season 6. Maya Alford, blessings to you. Glad to have you here with us. Good morning to you, Amy Robinson from Decatur, where it's greater. BG Gold from Marietta. God bless you from Cobb County. Tom Lyons. Tom Lyon is here from Victorville, California. Blessings to you from the West Coast. Blessings to you tuning in from the West Coast. So thankful to have you, all of you here, to be in support We are excited about entertaining faith and producing faith-based content. Ray Garden from Gastonia, blessings to you. Glad to have you from Gastonia, North Carolina. We're excited about Hope TV, and today, 2222, February 22nd of 22, 2222. We're thankful that today starts actually season 6. It's really, actually, it's really like season 10 or 11. Blessings to you, Teresa Reese. Really, to be honest with you, because the first 6 months we went with no break, but now we're doing it in sequence according to industry standards. Lynn Cobb was a first-time viewer. I want everybody to greet Lynn, first-time viewer Barbara Crushville, Laplace, Louisiana. Blessings to you. If you're watching for the first time, why don't you just type in number 1? I want you to type in the number 1 if this is your first time on Facebook or YouTube, because that will allow us to go back and makes it much easier for us. Chris Key from Des Moines, Iowa. Blessings to you. Thank you, everybody. So would you greet Lynn? But if you're first time viewer, type in just type in number 1, and that's right. We're excited. This is probably really season 10 or 11, if to be honest with you. But we want to do it according to industry standards, so we can improve our production. I want to thank Brother Benton, Walter Lee. Blessings to you, Benton. When I cast this vision, Benton, my right hand, with this whole thing, took it to heart, and literally the first 5-6 months we didn't sleep. We stayed in front of the computer all day long. Sharon Atkins, this is her first time here. Blessings to you, Sharon. Tifton George is in the house, Tiff County, and here we are 23 months later. And the Hope TV, our vision for this is enormous. We have a massive vision for it. Willie Mae McIntyre from Fayetteville, North Carolina. Blessings to you. Angelo Hill, number 1. All right, we've got several first-time visitors. And so season 1 started today. I'm so excited, man. We Kenny's the first-time visitor. Blessings to you. Angelo Hill, first time, man. We got 4 or 5 first-time people on here. Isn't this amazing? It's exciting that we're growing, and I appreciate you for tuning into Morning Dew. This is our bi-weekly devotional every Tuesday, every Thursday at 9:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. You can tune in for Morning Dew, one of my favorite shows that's on the Hope TV. I just can't wait till you see what's happening, man. We've taken Three Rivers, Michigan. Blessings to your Rain Shelter from Three Rivers, Michigan. This is novel. This is a novel network, and the vision God has given us. Linda Jones from Chicago. Blessings to you. Glad to have you here with us. Yeah, our network. Yeah, it's great. And Tasha, you, and Tasha and Benton, man. I start calling names. All the editors and producers, man. These people work. They burn the midnight oil, casting vision, and undergirding. When I had this, God gave me this idea. March the 7th, I believe it was, and I shared March 15th. I shared it with team March 15th of 2020. And man, listen, here we are, and this is amazing. I'm excited, and y'all stay on the lookout, because we want this to be a place where you can get wholesome entertainment for the whole family. The vision now for this is massive. It's just a massive vision, and we're excited about what's to come. And this is going to be a great season. And we're already looking into season 7 and season 8 and beyond. So we want you to be able to turn into the Hope TV 24 hours a day. I want y'all to agree with us on that every day you'll be able to tune into it and get great programming, something that you can watch with your children, your grandkids, the family, everybody. That it can be a blessing to you. Joshua Dunlap, blessings to you. Ursula Lewis, blessings to you. Glad to have you. Wow, this has kept a lot of us sane since started. Wow. What a Jack Christine, you don't know what that means. Benton and I were talking yesterday about this. Taji, man, been rolling. I mean, just everybody's been rolling with us, man. John, I just Audrey Wilbur's watching. Blessings to you. I don't want to get called names. I get emotional. I really would. Robert Staten, blessings to you, because people have just taken this vision and run with it. And the fact, what you just said, that it's been keeping you during the pandemic, give you some hope. That's what it's all about. We're hope dealers here, and we're about presenting entertaining faith through the airways, and we're excited about it. I'm glad to have you here with us. So if you're watching through East Long Island, blessings to you. Blessings to you, Pastor Gary Prim. Thank you so much, Pastor Prim. We've had over 200 million views, and our 2-year anniversary is coming next month. We got some great things. I just watched last Sunday's service. Looks professional. Thank you, Lynn Carl. Appreciate you. We won 3 Telly Awards last year with Hope TV, and we're looking for greater things this year. So y'all keep praying for us. Paulette, you're praying for your daughter Miracle. We will do that. So keep us lifted in prayer. If you're watching through Apple TV, Roku, Twitch, Amazon, Fire TV, Facebook, YouTube, if you're watching through the E. Dewey Smith website, good morning from Louisville, Kentucky. If you're watching from the House of Hope Atlanta website or the House of Hope West Point, shout out to West Point, our newest location. If you're watching through that location, thank you. You're watching through the HTV Now, the Hope TV website, however you view it, thank you for your viewership. And it's going to be a blessed day. And if you're watching through a platform today, right now, that will allow you to subscribe, like, comment, or share, please do so. You want to like, subscribe, comment, or share. Every time you subscribe, it helps us to grow the platform. We're trying to bring the best in programming here and the best content creators. And the more, good morning, Lily, and the more you subscribe, that helps us to leverage it. We want the best content, quality content and programming on here. And the subscribers help us to leverage it to go and get people to say, come on out and stream with us here. And so subscribe. The like button is important, helps us with our algorithms and our engagements. Your comments are preeminently important. You give us ideas for programs. During conversations like these, when it's live, you help me tremendously to clarify something. And sometimes your commentary helps to bring a point home. And of course, last but not least, hit that share button. That share button is preeminently important. Good morning to you, Bonnie Pryor. Good morning, Sean Addison. Glad to have everybody here with us. So I appreciate you being a part. One more thing right quick. In March of 2020, we launched the Hope TV. And here we are 23 months later, and we've been blessed, and we give God the glory and the praise for it. And March next month will be 24 months, 2 years. And we've won 3 Telly Awards. I mean, and I can't wait what God's going to do this year. But then March of 2021, we launched our record label, and I presented my first single to the radio industry, the radio. Been a love of music all my life, and people have been asking me to do music forever. And I released my first single to radio called Your Presence is a Gift. So it's been 11 months. And got the word yesterday that now Your Presence is a Gift. Blessings to you, Geneva from Orlando. Your Presence is a Gift is now top 10 on the gospel Billboard charts for the airplay. Can y'all play that? Made it to the top 10. Took 11 months, man. Good, been a long time coming. Took 11 months, but it's now, and that's not bad for a first time song, first time artist. Man, it's number 10. So I finally made it to the top 10, and I'm so excited. This is Billboard charts, gospel radio airplay. So so the top 10 song on gospel radio in the country. Unbelievable. And the radio announcers are just excited about it. And now iHeart is finally going to start playing it and adding it. So even more spins are coming. Oh my goodness. So it's taken 11 months, but not bad for the first time, So God is good. So it's top 10 on gospel airplay. So thank everybody for your support. I want y'all to continue to call your radio announcers and your local radio stations and request it. And thank you. And so it's very, very exciting. So y'all please call and help us to push it further. I don't know where it's going to go, but it made it to the top 10, which is incredible, almost unheard of for a brand new artist. And I wanted to do that. I did that song because the message of it helped me. The past 6 years have been very difficult. Some of y'all know my story and some things we went through with my family. And some of you don't know some things. Thank you, Tom. I've gone through personally, grief. And if you don't handle your grief well, If you don't get help, and when you keep going, sometimes you can do some terrible things, and you can not handle your grief well, and you can not handle your storms well, and it can lead you down a destructive path. But I'm here to tell you, but if you you can't fix what you can't face. Uh, but when you let the presence of God really in, and I'm telling you, God has a way of healing you and restoring you and protecting you. And that song was a song that came out of a lot of pain and particularly over loss. And so I hope that it's blessed people during the pandemic and it's resonating with people all over the world. Your presence is a gift. You are my reward. And so no matter what you lost or who you lost in the pandemic, or when many Americans have died, many of us had to say goodbye to our loved ones throughout the pandemic and down through the years. And grief is tough. It'll lead you to the bottle. It'll lead you. You'll be surprised. It'll lead you to a dark place. But His presence, let it be your gift, and let His presence be your reward. So thank y'all to everybody for your support. Y'all keep pushing it. Y'all keep pushing it. Keep pushing it, and let's see what happens. But it's number 10 now, and I never dreamt that. I really didn't. I just want to put the music out that I thought would bless people. I want to give a tribute to my deceased mother. You know about grief. Yeah, you understand. Grief would tear you up. I had to bury my mom and my sister three weeks apart 6 years ago, and still getting through it. And but now I know differently. I know differently. So maybe that song is blessing people. May continue to do so. Okay, let me get into our devotional today. We've been going verse by verse through the book. God blessings to you, Jamie from Harlem, New York. Blessings to you. We've been going through the book of Galatians. Man, we got people here from Harlem and Philadelphia and California and North Carolina and Florida, and man, y'all are here. Blessings to you, Tina. Blessings to you. We've been going verse by verse through the book of Galatians, and when I came to this chapter 5, and I do my devotional from the Message Bible. Got Michigan here, Macon, Georgia there. Good morning to you, Julie, right? My sister right around the corner from me. Grew up right around the corner from each other. When I got to this passage in the book of Galatians, it reminded me of a commercial when I was a boy. When I was a boy, Big Mac had a commercial. 2 all beef patties, special sauce, pickles, lettuce, onions on the sesame seed bun. That was Big Mac. 2 all beef patties, special sauce, pickles, lettuce, onions on a sesame seed bun. That was the Big Mac. I don't know if y'all remember that, And then they had another commercial. Big Mac, filet of fish, quarter pound of French fries, icicle milkshake, sundaes, and apple pie. Anybody remember those commercials? When I grew up, that's how they got that Big Mac across on the airways. 2 all beef patties, special sauce, pickles, lettuce, onions on a sesame seed bun. Yeah. And then they had Big Mac, filet of fish, quarter pound of French fries, icicle milkshake, sundaes, and apple pie. That was Big Mac. 2 all beef patties, special sauce, pickles, lettuce, onions on a sesame seed bun. But then Burger King came out with one. They were really trying to throw off on McDonald's when you think about it. And they had a commercial that said, yeah, that's it. They had a commercial that said, you can have it your way. Big Mac was the primary sandwich from McDonald's. Yeah, that's it. That's it. Cheese, isn't it? Big Mac, 2 all beef patty, special sauce, pickles, lettuce, cheese, onions on sesame. But you're right, Angela. You remember that? 2 all beef patty, special sauce, pickles, lettuce, cheese, onions on the sesame seed bun. That was McDonald's with Big Mac. But then Burger King said you can have it your way. Because when you order Big Mac, you have to order 2 all beef patty, special sauce, pickles, lettuce, cheese, onions on the sesame seed bun. But Big Mac, if you want to take the lettuce off, you can. If you want to get with no onions, you can. If you want with no mayo, you can. If you want it with cheese, you can add it. If you want without cheese, you can have without cheese. If you want it with extra pickles and extra onions, like my sister used to get it, I used to get mine like that too. You can get it your way. You can have it your way. So Big Mac was really trying to I mean, Burger King was really trying to throw off on McDonald's because McDonald's was already prepackaged. It came together. But with Burger King, you can decide on what you wanted. You can have it your way. And y'all been laughing at me. I see y'all was laughing at me. But when I read this scripture, that's what came to my mind in Galatians. And we're gonna put the scripture up there. I thought about Big Mac. And so I thought about Big Mac and Burger King, Big Mac and the Whopper. Because Paul says in Galatians 5, the Message Bible, he says, it is obvious what kind of life develops out of trying to get your own way all the time. Paul says that a lot of us, when you want to get your own way, have it your way. Y'all remember that Burger King? You can have it your way. I thought about that. A lot of us, when it comes to food, we want to have it our way. We want to have it. Well, you want to get vegetable plate or get your steak medium well or medium rare or well done. With food, we want to have it our way. But when it comes to faith, Paul says it's problematic when you try to have it your way. He says because a certain life can develop out of trying to have things your way all the time. And so for the sake of our conversation, I call that a Burger King religion. Burger King religion is when you want to have it your way. When you want to pick and choose what you abide by, pick and choose what you follow. And Paul says when you have a Burger King religion, I've gone through this. I've been going through this about 2 weeks now. I've been taking my time. And I should finish up today probably with this, if not Thursday. But look what he says about having things your way. He says, when you try to have a Burger King religion, you want to have things your way, cherry pick what you want, like those people in Galatia. They wanted to choose the ceremonies, the creeds, the customs, and circumcision, and the clothing, and the culinary attire. And at the same time, they wanted to integrate the cross in that. They were trying to pick and choose what they would follow. Paul said, no, it's Christ alone. But they wanted Christ and circumcision, Christ and the culinary constraints, Christ and the clothing stipulations, Christ and the creeds and the customs. He says, listen, you can't have it your way. It's okay when it comes to food. Yeah, if you want to go to Burger King and pick out, because I prefer the Whopper. Actually, it's charred grilled and it just tastes off the grill. I like it better. I've always liked the Whopper better than the Big Mac. I would eat both of them. That's fine when it comes to food. When it comes to faith, Paul says, when you try to get things your way all the time, a Burger King religion, he says some terrible things will happen as a result of you trying to get things your way. And because there's a difference, we talked about this a while ago, between self-preservation, self-interest versus self-centeredness. Nothing wrong with looking out for your self-interest. First law of nature is self-preservation. Nothing wrong with wanting to make sure that you are cared for and protected. But when you and I center ourselves in everything, when we live a self-centered life, Plato once said that man has a hierarchy of being. And Plato said that whatever's at the top of that person's pyramid is what has your affection and your attention. And in a lot of our lives, we have centered ourselves and our desires and our wishes and our wants. That's what I call it a Burger King religion. And there are three things that he mentions today. I've gone through these and I tried to just give you a cursory walk through these. Paul says when you have a Burger King religion, this is part 6 really of that. This is part 6 of this Burger King religion devotional. When you have a Burger King religion, Paul says there are 3 things that will emanate. 3 things that will come as a result of having this Burger King religion. And I want you to look at yourself. We can look at ourselves to find out, man, do I have a Burger King religion in this aspect? Do I want to have it my way? And maybe that's the reason why sometimes blessings don't come in our lives, because we have ourselves at the top of the pyramid. And so there are 3 things, and I want to put number 1 up there. Number 1, Paul says, when you and I have a Burger King religion, get this, he said we will be adverse to companionship. We will be adverse to companionship. Adverse. What does that mean, adverse? Adverse means to run away from or almost allergic to it. You know, adverse to companionship. That means you don't harmonize. You're not good. You know, you're the opposite. You know, you're adverse to it. Adverse is, I'm almost allergic to it. You know, it's not easy. Have issues relating to companionship. Very deep. Look what he says here. He says, it's obvious what happens when it's obvious what kind of life develops out of trying to get your way all the time. That's good. A brutal temper, we did that last time. Then he says this, an impotence to love or be loved. Jesus. This is the month of February. This is the month of love. Celebrated Valentine's last week. And but look what he says. He says, when you have a Burger religion, an impotence. Impotence means a lack of power. Impotence means the ability to perform. The inability to perform, inability to execute, powerless, lack of ability, weakness. Paul says that a Burger King religion can affect us relationally. Wanting to have it your way can make it impotent, make where you're impotent to love, it is, or even be loved. Some people, some of us, because I hate when preachers say you, some preachers, you, I've always tried to us, some of us, we're all in this, can't love people. Some of us can't love because we fall in love with ourselves. And we're so in love with ourselves that we can't love nobody else. The self-interest and self-preservation and self-centeredness has made it all about us. And we center ourselves even in relationships, where it's about our needs, what we want. And so this is this whole, we just saw this documentary with Janet Jackson. She had a song, one of her popular songs, but I think many of us have applied that to what have you done for me lately? Ooh, yeah. What have you done for me lately? And again, I'm not saying that we shouldn't seek to be loved or have boundaries or desires, but many of us, that's our whole mentality in relationships. What have you done for me lately? What can I get out of it? How does this benefit me? And many people look at others from a utilitarian perspective. It is, I'm with you for what I can get out of it. So if I date a man, what can you do for me? And many people have been brought up with, if I date a woman, what can she do for me? Can she cook? She clean? I need somebody to take care of me. We center ourselves in the whole piece. He says, and so we don't have the power to love. We're impotent to love or even be loved. Some of us are so ugly in spirit and personality, it's hard for people to love us back. Because we want it our way all the time. So you can't love or you can't be loved. And everywhere you go, it's the same story, the same piece. We center ourselves where it's all about us. Some of you who are watching me right now, you may be wondering, why do those of you who may be single, sometimes those who may be married before, those of you who be married, you may be wondering, why don't I have peace? Or I've dated 3 guys, or I dated 4 women, and they don't know each other, and every one of them said the same thing about me. You're all about yourself. You're selfish. It's interesting. One of my nieces had a conversation last night and asked the question, do you think I'm selfish? This is what my niece asked last night. Do you think I'm selfish? I've been thinking about myself. When you have to ask the question, do you think I'm selfish? Chances are some stuff is already underneath the surface that has convicted you. If you got to ask me about my selfish, chances are you probably are. If you're thinking about it. And that's good, Adrian. And if you dated 4 or 5 people and everybody said the same thing about you, they don't even know each other. You got 4 or 5 failed relationships that didn't work out with good people. Sometimes you have to ask yourself this question. Now, who's the common denominator in all these equations? Is it about me? Have I allowed my hurt from the past? Have I allowed my pride? Have I allowed how I've been brought up? Have I allowed how I've been brought up to change my idea of relationships? What have you done for me? What can you do for me, honey? Honey, you better get what you can. You better get yours. But look out for yourself. And what it have you doing? You're looking out for yourself so much. And what happens a lot of times is sometimes it's based on hurt. You were hurt before in a previous relationship, so the next time you go and look out for yourself. So what happened? Absolutely. Yep. That's true. Sometimes people will take that control you. But my thing is, can you look at yourself? People will manipulate you. But I think but my point is, if you've gone through the same thing 4 or 5 times with different people who don't know each other, you may have to ask yourself the question. That's all. That's my thing. All I'm saying. This is about self-examination. This is not here to point fingers. It's just here to make us ask ourselves the question. Is it all about what you can get? Is there any reciprocity? Is there any compromise? Absolutely. You know, it have you thinking everybody out to get you. God can give you a new relationship, but you made the new relationship pay a tax on what the other one did. You know, your mother will tell you, always look out for yourself. Honey, don't trust a man. You know, that'll have you that'll have you saving money, hiding money from people who are not trying to steal anything from you. You know, these kind of things can play can be terribly difficult in our lives. And so, is it hard for you to love? Is it hard for you to be loved? Is that give and take? Are you always on the receiving end? Are you ever on the giving end? And I'm not saying that you keep a record of who gave what, but do you do for others, or do you always want to be done? Yep, live with a paranoid spirit, yes. Because you centered yourself and not centered God's will. Sometimes we center our pride, our ego, our hurts, our past, and we make a decision, nobody's going to hurt me again. And instead of allowing God's peace to keep us, we try to keep ourselves. And sometimes you can close your fist up, but what you don't understand, when you close your fist up, like you close your emotions up, nothing can go out, but nothing can come in. Some people are just difficult and hard to love because it's all about them. It's all about them. I was talking to one guy. It's been a while ago before COVID hit at the barbershop, and he was in love with this woman, and they were both in their 40s, but he had been married before and had gone through a divorce, and he was 40s, he was in the late 30s, and he had a child from his previous marriage, and he was in love with this woman, but she didn't want to marry him because she didn't want him to have. She didn't want to deal with him having a child and being an ex-wife. And so they dated, and that relationship ended because she did not want to have to raise another child that was not her biological child. And I was talking to my barber about it, and the reality is they still have not. It was a perfect relationship. They were great for each other, but she could not open up her heart to get out of her head that she always said that she never wanted to marry a man who had kids. So because he had a child with his wife, they were divorced. She was unwilling. A man who loved her would do anything for her. She could accept him, but she couldn't open up her heart to all of what came along with it. And and what happened when I heard that, there's a couple of years, we talked about it a couple of years ago, and we talked about it last night, the conversation, how many people you want to have it your way. But the question is, what if, now which I believe she did, that God was sending her somebody to be everything she ever needed. But because she centered herself in that situation. And some of you may say, well, she got a right to have her own boundaries, or that's what she says she wants. She got a right. I hear you. She got a right to decide what she wants. Maybe that's your belief. But my belief is, what if God was giving her a blessing? God, that was her preference, but there's nothing biblical that said that she had to do that. What if she missed her blessing because she couldn't get out of her own way because she loved herself and her plan, and how she always saw her life? Maybe she was centering herself. And that's what I believe. That sometimes that's just one example of how we can center ourselves so much that we may miss something. People say, well, I think she had it right. Well, I just think the older you get, you got to be more mature. I think the way we thought about things in our 20s and our 30s, when you get to your 40s, I think life matures us. And I think sometimes you can miss your blessing because you and I center what we thought or how we were brought up. We center what we think things should be like. This is not a biblical premise. This is not a Bible lesson. It was just using her own mind. She couldn't get out of her way. And because she couldn't open her heart to love this man's daughter, because she couldn't love, she's going to put herself in a position perhaps where she won't even receive love. It's hard to find authentic relationships out here. But because she couldn't get out of her own way, and right now she's still not dating anybody. You know why? Because I think she's centered. I think that was a case of a Burger King religion. You can get out, you can get in your own way. Here's what got me. That's a standard. I don't know if that's a standard or if that's a preference. I don't know if that's a standard or not. I think that's more of a preference. When you think about even Jesus himself, Jesus was raised by Joseph, who is not his biological father. Even the Lord had a stepfather. Even the Lord Jesus. I agree she didn't need to fake it. I agree she didn't need to fake it. Right, she didn't need to fake it. But my point is, she didn't need to fake it, but she needed to mature or heal. No, she didn't need to fake it. She needed to do some internal work. Why are you thinking this at almost 40 years old? To miss out on something that's the best thing that ever happened to you. Admittedly. I mean, we'll tell the world, but just didn't want to deal with that aspect of it. I think that has to do with the capacity of love. And that's just my opinion on it. Because there is no, that said nothing about a person's character. That said nothing about a person's faith. Yeah, I think that's something. Yeah, I think there's some internal work need to be done. But most importantly, I think when you center yourself, that's not a standard. That's because it suggests that lacks standards. No, that's not. That's a preference. Yeah, and I think so often we do that. We look at people based upon how they look, how much money they make, or he don't make enough money, or he doesn't dress good enough, or he doesn't have the same level of education that I do. And I don't like how he dressed. I can't take him around my family. He's not handsome enough. And we look at these things like this, and sometimes if you're not careful, we can allow our preferences, to put us in a position where we're hard to love, and we can be adverse to companionship. That's a Burger King relationship. Here's another one. That's just my opinion. And here's another one. That's so true. It's hard to hear from God when you already have that. That's so good. Absolutely. Yeah, it's just, but we got these preconceived notions, man, in our heads. And this is what I want. This is what I've always wanted. This is what I see. But just because you see that doesn't mean that's what God has for you. That's my point. When did the Holy Spirit tell you not to do it? When did God tell you? This man has everything you ever wanted. But because he was married and divorced and has a daughter, and you decide, no, I'm not doing that. That means, in my opinion, that you centered yourself and your thoughts and your preferences. And nothing's wrong with preferences. But what happens when your preferences may push you away from something that God has given you that can be the best thing that's ever happened to you? It's my opinion. You may have an issue with Burger King religion. Here's another one. Point two. I'm almost finished. Let me give you two more. Let you go. Affinity for compartmentalization. Affinity for compartmentalization. Affinity for compartmentalization. Affinity for compartmentalization. What does that mean? Affinity for compartmentalization. Put the scripture back up there. I'm almost finished. It is obvious what kind of life develops out of trying to get things your own way. You're exactly right, Darcy. It is a hard thing. It is a hard thing to do that. But it's also harder sometimes trying to live by yourself. It is obvious what kind of life develops out of trying to get your own way all the time. Brutal Temple, it is an impotence to love or be loved. Here's another one. Divided homes, divided lives. It's also hard trying to pay the bills by yourself. it's a whole lot is hard. You know what I'm saying? It's hard. Life is hard. You know, it's hard to sometimes be by yourself. Yeah, everything's hard. But it is a brutal temperature, an impetus to love, be loved. It is divided homes, divided lives. Whoa. Divided homes and divided lives. What does that mean? It says that sometimes when you have made it about yourself, that's true. When you made it about yourself, you can have a divided home and a divided life. Many of us have compartmentalized lives. We have God right here. We have our relationships right here. We have our job right here. Compartmentalization. We gotta learn how to decompartmentalize God. What I mean by that? Some of us have divided places in our lives. We have places where God lives and a place where we don't want God to go into. It's almost like when I grew up, Mama taught always keep the living room clean and always keep the front bathroom clean. Mama said whenever you go to when you go to school, you leave the house, make sure you put some clean underwear on. Just in case you get hurt or something, got to go to the hospital, you got some clean underwear on. Mama would say to me, when people come over to the house, the front bathroom need to be clean. Wherever people gonna be, the public areas need to be clean. Now you can go in your bedroom and let it be junky, and you can close the door back there. Because you compartmentalize places where people can go and places that are cluttered. Think about that. Even to this day, some of us, the front room gonna be clean, the living room gonna be clean. People gonna come there, front bathroom, keep that clean, people. But now the back areas, now you can come in my bedroom. I got stuff all on the floor, and you know, bedroom can be more junky. You come in the little den area, that's pretty tidy. You don't get too messed up. The common areas, you know. But now you're not coming in this room, cause I ain't make the bed up, or I got stuff on the floor from yesterday. Every area, you know what I'm saying? Some places in my house, none of it is nasty, but some is more junky than others. You know what I mean? I don't believe in no nasty house. I like cleanliness, but the bed's not always made up. Sometimes I may leave the suitcase. You know, I got stuff not nasty, but you might just straighten it up a little bit. But that front one needs to be in order. It's almost like that. That's how my mama raised me. Make sure everything is not, you know what I mean? And the older you get, sometimes you get older, you know, clean the kitchen. You don't want to get no ants or anything in there. Make sure all that, take the trash out. But make sure some areas where people gonna be, the people can come that looks good and smell good. You got tissue in those areas. I know some of y'all were raised like this. Some people said, no, everything has to be clean. No, we need I ain't clean everything every day. But here's the thing. I make that point to make this analogy. Yeah, I got a suitcase right now. I got a suitcase in the room right now that I need to unpack from 2 weeks ago. I wrote. um, Here's what got me. Our lives often the same way. There are rooms in our lives where God is welcome. Yeah, God, you can come sit in this area. This room right here is clean. You got it. Room plastic up. This room you're welcome in. But Lord, this room here got some junk in it. And we close the door in that room because we don't want God in that room. We compartmentalize where we go. Okay, God, God, you can come with me and be with me in church. God, you can come and be with me in my worship moments. But God, in my relationship, I don't want you there. God, you can be with me in Bible study, but you can't be with me in my finances. Many of us have different places where we allow God and we keep God out. And sometimes we act one way in church, we act another way at home. Because we got these, God is not centered in everything we do. I believe the scripture that says, in him that we live, move, and have our being. That means in every area of my life, God must be the center and the foundation and the source and the foundation. If God is not welcome in every room, the question we got to ask ourselves is, what's wrong with that room? The question we got to ask ourselves, what's in that room that you don't want God to see? But the question that's even bigger is this. You do know God can see what's in that room and saw what was going to be in that room before you before you knew what was going to be in the room. God knew it. Can I invite God into every room? Or are some rooms too painful? Are some rooms too junky? Have I compartmentalized in my life where I want God to go and where I don't want God to be? A compartmentalized life is a life that helps us to not say, God, I love you in every way and every day. Maybe the reason why we're broken in some areas is because we haven't invited God in that room. Our emotions can be so enormous that we can almost emotionalize God out of certain rooms. God, I don't want to even hear what you have to say. Yes, that's it, Latrice. That's it, my cousin. Some areas we don't want God in. And we wonder why. And here's what Selena Pena, her book on emotional oneness says. There's some rooms, we all got rooms, and some rooms are so painful that we made those rooms sacred. Those rooms have become like sanctuaries. And because they're too painful, so we close the door on those rooms. We close the door in that room and we don't even go in there because it's too painful. And in that room, there are a lot of intruders. There are a lot of toxic things that we don't want to revisit. So we close the door in that room. We make those rooms sacred. Don't go in there. Don't open that door. And what Selena Pena says something that's very interesting. When we make those rooms sacred, they're full of toxicity. And what I said is, when we close the door in those rooms, we not only do we make those rooms sacred and they become sanctuaries, but here's the inevitable outcome. That sanctuary will become our mortuary. If you don't go in that room, what's in that room, that sanctuary, will become your mortuary. What's in that room can have the power to kill you if you're not careful. And so, brothers and sisters, compartmentalize lives. You can be in a family, you can be married to somebody, and it's totally divided. What you do publicly, what you do at home is totally different. People be all over each other in public, and at home can't stand each other. They can be all public, posting pajama pictures on Christmas together, and just had knives each other's throat. Thanksgiving. Divided, because so much of their life they want to show public. They have an Instagram life, and they have a reality life. What room is God not invited? We can't have this affinity for compartmentalization. You can't have certain places and rooms where you don't let God. Is God welcome in every single room? Have you let him in every room? Have you let him in every room? Can't say God is dirty in there. God, that's some stuff that I'm embarrassed by. But I need you help. But I need you to come take over this room. Help me to get this room clean. Help me to bring some healing, because what we don't realize is when that room is closed, is because there is an emotional intruder that's in that room. An intruder is something that has come in without permission. And many of us have emotional intruders that are living within us, and now they act as if they've taken up residence in these rooms. Many of us don't realize we got some intruders living in these rooms who are not supposed to be there. And we end up closing the door to let the intruders stay. The reality is this: the emotional intruders don't deserve to stay. Emotional intruders must be evicted. Because what happens is they'll come back, they'll bring others 7 times stronger, and they'll say, this is my house. And many of us have emotional intruders living in rooms because we've compartmentalized where we want God and where we don't want God. And we're pacifying intruders rather than evicting them. If you don't let God in the room, you're going to have a compartmentalized life. You got to decompartmentalize God. Let God go in every room. That's what the psalmist says: search me. Here's where I am. Search me. And when you find something that's not there, take it out. God, I surrender it to you. I surrender you. I need you to come on in the room. You know me. You know me. And what kind of intruder is in that room? There's a difference between a guest and an intruder. An intruder is somebody who has no business being in that space. And what Jesus says is like the story of a man who put one evil spirit out, but because they didn't put anything in that room, he went trying to find rest and went and found 7 more stronger than him, and came back with their suitcases. We're going back to our house. Emotional intruders try to come back and hide in those rooms. Why? Because we got spaces there, because that room is empty. But they can't come in that room when we let God saturate it. Give him your grief, give him your pain, give him your hurts, give him your struggles. Invite him. God, what's that intruder? What's that intruder? What's living right there that's trying to kill me? What's that's trying to kill me? What is it? That intruder that's right there. Man, gotta go. And what happens is when we get to the point we say, okay, God, this is not your best. I'm not living up into the fullness of what you call me. You got more for me. You came that I have abundant life, but I'm letting shame, I'm letting ego, I'm letting pride, I'm letting what others think. I'm letting what people are gonna say about me, what people are gonna think about me. Don't want to be disliked. And that thing living in that space. Pride. We're not really free. Free to be us. It's that compartmentalization. In every relationship is God behind. Is God. Do you see God in it? Is it a blessing? Or something you just got yourself in because of flesh? Compartmentalized life. So the Burger King religion, you just want everything your way. First thing I told you was adverse to companionship, affinity for compartmentalization. Here's the last one. The third thing, I'm gonna let y'all go. The third thing, affected by low consciousness. When you got a Burger King religion, when you just want it your way, you're affected by low consciousness. Affected by low consciousness. Affected by low consciousness. He says when you just want it your way, everything got to be your way. Number one, it's gonna be hard for you to love and hard for you to be loved because you center yourself in everything. It's more about what you can get. What have you done for me lately? Second thing, the affinity for compartmentalization, where you have a divided home, divided life. Right? But then the third one is affected by low consciousness. Put the scripture up there. What do you mean by low consciousness? And the last one, I'm gonna let y'all go. Look what he says about low consciousness. He says, it's obvious what kind of life develops out of trying to get your own way all the time. A brutal temper, we talked about that last week, an impotence to love or be loved, divided homes, divided lives. Here it is, small-minded and lopsided pursuits. Small-minded and lopsided pursuits. Jesus. So you're small-minded. When you want to have it your way, you end up with small-minded and lopsided pursuits. What does that mean? That means that you'll start pursuing stuff that don't even, like, what are you thinking? Like, is that all? You mean tell me that you don't think God can help you finish school? You mean to tell me that God can't let you do the ministry? You're going for low-hanging fruit. You mean to tell me that you don't believe you can buy the home? You don't believe you can start the business? Because you centered yourself, now you've lowered your view on what God can do. Because now you think you're responsible for the outcome. Many of us won't step out on faith and do great things because we centered ourselves. Because we think the outcome is up to us. You know, I just, why can't you start the business? Why can't you be successful? Why can't you launch out in ministry? Why can't you do the building program? Why can't you go back and get the master's? Why can't you write the book? Why can't you produce the music? Small-mindedness. Small mind. We fuss over the smallest things. We get upset about stuff that doesn't matter. You argue with people over stuff that means nothing. You always got to be right. And we look at like, why am I tripping over something that's so little? Small-minded pursuits and small-minded and lopsided pursuits. So now the things we are pursuing, he says, small, lopsided. God has so much. God can give you the desires of your heart. This is going to be easy. This is going to come overnight. But God can give you the desire. Scripture says, set your affections on things which are above. Let me tell you something. God has so much in store for us. God has joy and peace for us. God has increase and favor that are available for us. When you look at your life and you wonder, I'm surrounded by people who bring me down and not push me higher. And sometimes you begin to think, okay, well, maybe this is God's best for me. People who bring me down and keep me down. No, God has greater, not small-minded things. Oh, set your mind and your affections on things that are above. God has great Great, great, great. Greatness is yours. Power is yours. Oh my God. Who told you? Who told you that you couldn't be faithful? Who told you you couldn't drive that? Who told you you couldn't have that? I don't care. I don't care if nobody in your family has it. I don't care if everybody's from the hood, from the get. I don't care what you've gone through. I don't care what you've experienced. God is bigger than anything. Don't have these lopsided small pursuits. Think big. Because we serve a big God. Yes. Write the books. Start the business. Go back to school. Oh my God. Whatever it is that you believe that you can do. God, now show me how to do it. Show me how to do it, God. The time, God, I don't have the time today. I'm tired. Put people in my life to help me figure this out. Put people in my life. I don't care how old it is. God, I got a passion for business. Show me the relationship that I want and deserve. What I'm believing you for. May be difficult, but God, there's nothing too hard for you. Yes, God takes pleasure in blessing the children. So I'm gonna pray as if it all depends on God. I'm gonna work as if it all depends on me. And I'm believing God. And let me tell you something. I believe that we made it through this pandemic because God wants to take us from faith to faith and glory to glory. I believe God is saying to us even now, you think I brought you through all this so you can go back to the same old, same old? I believe God is saying, I've allowed all these things to test you and your tenacity, your perseverance. That if you made it through this, start thinking big. Oh my God. If you only saw how much confidence God has in you. We tell our team sometimes, you ought to try something so big that failure is absolutely guaranteed unless God steps in. You ought to try something so big that failure is guaranteed unless God steps in. And I hear what y'all are saying. Well, I ain't got the money. Well, God would never give you a vision based on your budget. Yeah. If you can afford it in your budget, it ain't God. God would never give you a vision that's based on your budget. Did you hear what I said? God will never give you a vision based on your budget. That's not God. What God will do is say, give me 2 fish and 5 loaves and watch me multiply them. What God will do is say, go fishing and take a corn out the fish's mouth and go handle your obligations. That's the kind of God we serve. But many of us have lowered God and brought God down. We got a Burger King religion because we put ourselves on the throne. God will give you time. God will restore the years of locusts of Eden. The palm worm and the cankerworm are taken away. Listen to me here. Open your consciousness. Get a higher consciousness and a higher view of what God can do and what God will do. Yeah, that's it. Try something so big. That's it. If you can see it, that's not it. Try something that's so big that failure is guaranteed unless God steps in. And I'm telling y'all, I believe this is the season where God's getting ready to blow somebody's mind. I believe that this is a season that the stuff you've been struggling through and desiring and praying for and hoping for, I believe this is a season where God is going to manifest and give you your heart's desire. He knows your heart. He knows you're not evil or wicked. He knows that you're going to honor him and put him first. If you put God first, watch what God can do. God is going to blow your mind. So don't have a Burger King religion where everything is about you. But take yourself off the throne and put him on the throne. And say, God, I'm gonna honor you. And when you do, I'll honor you. I'm gonna protect what you give me. I'm gonna honor what you give me. I'm going to make sure that you get all the glory, all the honor, and all the praise. That's what God wants. Yeah. Don't bring your consciousness down. Have a higher consciousness. Yeah. Don't think low. Don't think low. That's what that means, low consciousness. No, don't think low. Glory to glory, faith to faith, over and beyond. You never could have told me last year that I want to release some music that's gonna be in the top. I wasn't thinking that big. That's my problem. I'm just doing something because I want to release some music. I'm like, Lord, if I could have done this a long time ago. Thinking too small. Don't think too small. God is big. And he's able to do exceeding abundantly above all you can ask or think, according to the power that's at work in you. And so today, you can't have it your way. Same Burger King. You can't have it your way. No, no. In this perspective, say, God, however you designed it. In this aspect, be like McDonald's. 2 all beef patties, special sauce, pickles, lettuce, cheese, onions on a sesame seed bun. That's what you want right now. Yeah. In other words, however you prescribed it is what I want. I want to have it my way. That's Burger King. That's good for food. You can have it your way. But from faith, however you prescribed it, I want a Big Mac blessing. Whatever you put in there, 2 all beef patties, special sauce, pickles, onions, lettuce, cheese on a sesame seed bun. If that's what you want, I want everything you want from me. I don't want nothing less. Everything you want on my sandwich, God, I want it. Don't leave nothing out of mine. And if you don't want it on there, God, I don't want it. That's what I want today for all of us. God's best for all of us. 2 all beef patties, special sauce, pickles, lettuce, cheese, onions on a sesame seed bun. Whatever he puts in it, every ingredient. And I tell you, when God does it, not my will. That's it, Jesse. Your way. Your way, God, not mine. Your way. Everything you birthed for me, God, how have you prescribed it? That's it. I love y'all. Gotta go now. But as always, remember this. Move yourself out the way. God is working. God is working. Might not be able to see it, understand it. Blessings to you. Might not understand it right now. But you're going to have the desires of your heart. You're going to get what God orders. Because God always pays for what he orders. You hear me? God will pay for what he orders. And if it's God's will, it's God's bill. If it's God's choice, it's God's invoice. Hang in there. Hang in there. Hang in there. It's going to work out. I love y'all. As always, remember this. If you be good to God, God will be good to you. Till next time, peace and love. I love y'all. Have a great week.
Set I'm free, y'all. Set I'm free, y'all. Set I'm free, y'all. Yes, I am. Set I'm free, y'all. Set I'm free, y'all. Set I'm free, y'all. Ooh. Yes, I am.
Get up on your feet, this is a shakedown. Order up that beat just like a takeout. Show me you got soul inside those new shoes. And you can rock and roll with an attitude. So good, so fresh, just the way you like it.